Ever gazed back at the grand tapestry of history and just thought, what on earth were they thinking? Well, settle in, curious minds, because today we're diving headfirst into the annals of pure absurdity. We're on a quest to unearth history's top 10 biggest fools, the individuals whose colossal blunders, arrogant assumptions, or just plain baffling decisions left an indelible, and often utterly embarrassing, mark on the world. From emperors to generals, inventors to explorers, we're about to meet a cast of characters who prove that even the most powerful, the most supposedly intelligent among us, can, indeed, be a complete fool. So, grab your popcorn, prepare to cringe, and let the countdown begin. Before we reveal our first entry, a quick note. Foolishness is, of course, subjective, and hindsight is always 20/20ths. But some decisions, well, they transcend mere mistakes. They enter the realm of legendary ineptitude. Our criteria: monumental misjudgments, acts of self-sabotage, and actions that actively worked against their own best interests, often with widespread, truly negative consequences. Our journey into historical ineptitude begins with number 10, Emperor Elagabalus. Picture this: the Roman Empire, 3rd century AD. This young man ruled for only 4 chaotic years, a masterclass in how not to lead. Elagabalus was less concerned with governance and more with, well, a truly bizarre he married a Vestal virgin, tried to replace traditional Roman gods with a new sun deity, and generally alienated everyone, from his senators to his common citizens. He redefined hot mess for an entire empire. Unsurprisingly, his reign ended abruptly, as he was assassinated by his own Praetorian guard at the tender age of 18. Talk about a party animal who forgot he was also in charge of a civilization. Next at number 9, we find King George III of Great Britain. In the 18th century, a stubborn refusal to compromise can break more than just a peace treaty. George III's unyielding stance against the American colonies proved just that. His obstinacy, his insistence on taxing and controlling without true representation, directly ignited the flames of the American Revolution, costing Britain a massive chunk of its burgeoning empire. Sometimes, being too rigid just breaks things. He proved that inflexibility can cost you an entire continent. Coming in at number 8, from the 19th century, we have Admiral Sir Charles Napier. This British admiral famously declared in 1850, "The electric telegraph is humbug." Yes, humbug. A mere few years later, telegraph lines spanned continents, revolutionizing communication across the globe. This is a classic case of dismissing groundbreaking innovation, a historical facepalm moment, if ever there was one. Admiral Napier, meet the future. It's calling on a telegraph. Now, for our notoriously foolish number 7, the Knights Templar and the Battle of Harim. This is the one you won't believe. In 1164, a formidable crusader force, swelling with brave Templars, had the strategic advantage, surrounding the fortress of Harim. But instead of patiently waiting for reinforcements or crucial siege equipment, they succumbed to a fatal hubris. They charged prematurely, a headlong rush into disaster, and were utterly annihilated by a Muslim relief force. The result? One of the most catastrophic crusader defeats in history. When arrogance meets the battlefield, the result is usually a devastating lesson. The Knights Templar learned that the very hard way at Harim. Our number 6 takes us to the east, to the successors of Zheng in Ming Dynasty China. Imagine being on the very precipice of global exploration. Admiral Zheng had already led incredible voyages that reached as far as Africa. But then, in the 15th century, subsequent Ming emperors and short-sighted court officials made an almost incomprehensible decision. They foolishly burned his magnificent fleet and effectively closed China off from the outside world. They abandoned a chance at global dominance, literally missing the boat on an unprecedented scale of exploration and influence. At number 5, we look at Stanley and his infamous search for Livingstone. While Stanley did indeed find the lost explorer, his methods in 19th century Africa were appalling. His brutal treatment of his African porters and his tendency to shoot at innocent villagers earned him widespread condemnation. His exploration feats were undeniably impressive, but his conduct made him a deeply controversial figure. This expedition proved that sometimes the discoverer can be the biggest brute in the jungle, overshadowing any achievement with a trail of cruelty. Finally, for our brief countdown, we arrive at number 4, King Xerxes I of the Achaemenid Empire. In the 5th century BC, his invasion of Greece was a spectacle of overwhelming force, but Xerxes was a man of colossal overconfidence. His decisions at the Battle of Thermopylae and crucially, his choice to attack the allied Greek fleet at Salamis and narrow straits, utterly negated his superior numbers. His arrogance sealed his fate, transforming a seemingly unstoppable invasion into a humiliating defeat and a desperate retreat. Xerxes had the numbers, but he completely lacked the strategic brilliance needed to win. Now, we delve into the top 3, where foolishness spirals into catastrophe. At number 3, we find the iconic figure of Napoleon Bonaparte, the military genius, the Emperor of France, who then decided to ignore every historical lesson about invading Russia. In 1812, against all logical advice, he marched his grand army deep into the vast, unforgiving Russian landscape. The brutal winter, the scorched earth tactics of the Russians, and their tenacious resistance decimated his forces, turning a grand invasion into a horrific retreat. The hubris, the sheer scale of this self-sabotage, it's almost breathtaking. This monumental mistake led directly to his downfall, proving that even a genius can make the most strategically disastrous blunder. Our number 2 spot goes to the ill-fated royal pair, King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. The 18th century French monarchy, living in opulent Versailles, was astonishingly detached from the searing suffering of its people. Their lavish spending, their tone-deaf responses to the growing revolutionary fervor, epitomized by the apocryphal, yet telling, "Let them eat cake," painted a picture of absolute disconnect. Their inability to adapt, to make any meaningful concessions, sealed their own demise and, crucially, ignited the inferno of the French Revolution. If ever there was a royal couple who epitomized living in a bubble, it was these two. Their colossal ignorance literally cost them their heads. And now, we arrive at number 1, Adolf Hitler. While his evil is undeniable, the strategic blunders he unleashed were monumentally foolish, ultimately dooming his regime and costing millions of lives. From his fateful decision to invade the Soviet Union in 1941, opening a catastrophic two-front war, to his obsessive fixation on Stalingrad, diverting vital resources from critical campaigns. This, coupled with the suicidal declaration of war on the United States after Pearl Harbor, ensured Germany's ultimate defeat. His entire ideology, his pursuit of total war against the world, was a suicidal endeavor, a cascade of self-destructive madness. This isn't just about a mistake. Hitler's entire worldview and strategic planning were built on a foundation of delusion and an inability to understand the world beyond his warped ideology. The sheer unfathomable scale of the catastrophe that resulted from his foolishness makes him, tragically, history's biggest fool. So there you have it, 10 individuals or groups who, for various reasons, earned their place in the Hall of Shame for historical foolishness. Their stories serve as stark reminders that power, wealth, and even profound intelligence are no guarantees against making truly awful decisions. What do you think? Did we miss anyone who absolutely deserves a spot on this list of historical dunderheads? Let us know your thoughts, and who you'd add, in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into history's colossal blunders, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more historical deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.